Welcome to Motorbike Explorer.
Huh? Yeah, I got it on.
After my very relaxing stay camping on the beach, it's time to pack up and head towards the ancient city of Calakmul, which is located at the center of one of the largest tropical forests in all of the Americas. Not long after leaving Playa del Carmen, I ran into two fellow motorcyclists who happened to be touring the Yucatan on the same day. We're all headed in the same direction, so we decided to ride as a group. One rider named Francisco from Villahermosa, Mexico, is on his mighty Super Tenere, and the other named Noah is traveling to Panama from Oregon on his fully loaded KLR 650. I even bumped into the Swiss couple who I had just met last night at camp. They have been traveling the world on and off in their custom Land Rover since 1997. Noah and Francisco agreed to join me at the campground on Lake Bacalar. We drank the night away and shared our motorcycle war stories. What a blast. The following morning we said goodbye to Noah as he would be making his way into Belize. Francisco and I saddled up and headed toward the ruins of Calakmul. I'm really glad to have joined up with other riders on this portion of the trip. The Yucatan had some very long, flat and straight roads that were quite dull, and I think Francisco was pleased to have a riding partner too. Once we arrived at the park entrance to Calakmul, it would be another hour of riding before we actually reached the ruins. This forest is massive. I was told to keep a lookout for the howler monkeys running and swinging from tree to tree, but I think we scared them all away with the loud engines echoing through the forest canopy. The hour went by quickly and Francisco decided to split off while I concentrated on filming the ruins. This ancient city, nicknamed the Snake Kingdom, was once home to about 50,000 Maya. It flourished between the time of 500 BC to around 1000 AD, when it was largely abandoned and consumed by the surrounding Tierras Bajas tropical forest, the second largest tropical forest in all of the Americas. Calakmul was first reported back in 1931, and a year later an extensive mapping project was started on behalf of the Carnegie Institute of Washington. Work continued on resurrecting the city from the forest's grasp until 1938, when efforts were stopped for unknown reasons. It wasn't until 1982 that attention was brought back to the ancient city by the Universidad Autónoma de Campeche. Their efforts continued on through to the early 90s, and the city is now under a large-scale project directed by the National Institute of Anthropology and History. The large vertical stones you see positioned throughout the city are called stelae. There are 117 of them in the city, and most of them are paired in sets that depict Calakmul's various rulers and their wives. What's unfortunate for archaeologists is that the stelae were made from soft limestone and have since eroded away far beyond interpretation. The step pyramids, temples, and palaces here aren't as richly decorated as some of the other sites I've been to. However, many artifacts, paintings, inscriptions, and burial remains were discovered, exposing the rich history of this powerful, war-stricken city. Calakmul holds a great deal of significance to historians because of the vast distribution of its emblem glyph. The Calakmul emblem glyph, which is a snakehead sign, is a type of royal emblem. It appeared in more hieroglyphic texts than any other Maya city, including that of the rival city, Tikal. Like the other ancient cities in Mesoamerica, Calakmul struggled to gain power over territory in order to have access to natural resources. Water was scarce in the area as well. The Maya developed an extensive network of canals and reservoirs that would be replenished during the rainy season. The system was vast enough to support 50,000 to 100,000 inhabitants. This same water network is used today by archaeologists working at the site. As I walk back and forth through the long, narrow trails that cut through the dense forest, I noticed that the different areas of the city were positioned far apart from each other, more so than the other cities I visited. But then again, if you were one of 50,000 residents living here, you probably would want a little breathing room. Pictured here are all that remains of what the ancient Maya had called home. These are the foundations of Calakmul's residential area. Imagine what daily life would have looked like. The smoke from fires used for cooking, people talking in their native tongue. It's just a magical experience being able to walk through it all. I inadvertently saved the best structure for last. This pyramid temple is one of the largest in the Maya world, at a height of 148 feet or 45 meters, and the view at the top is spectacular. Francisco had left Calakmul early to drive back to Villahermosa, and by the time I had left, I needed to find accommodations for the night, which ended up being at a roadside restaurant. The resident chickens certainly did not make me feel welcome. I had a feeling they wanted to see what was inside my tent. After 1 or 2 hours of sleep and a very early wake-up call, it's time to break down camp and get back on the road to finish up my tour de Yucatan. Calakmul would be the last ancient city I visit in Mexico, even though there are so many of them spread out across the country. The entrance fees can add up to a significant amount, so I made my selections very carefully. I came across an interesting fact about the current size of the pyramid structures. Many of them originally started out as smaller pyramids, and have substantially grown in size over the centuries due to a layering process. Which makes me wonder if there are undiscovered stones with glyphic text hidden underneath the different layers. A lot of these ancient cities are still being excavated, so who knows what other secrets have yet to be exposed. My attention slowly diverts back to navigation. The plan is to backtrack through the city of Palenque and continue south toward Guatemala. I can see on my map a rather large mountain range will be in my path, so hopefully the roads will become a little more interesting. Mexico overall has been an amazing place to visit. I do feel as if I may have been a victim to some price gouging after my identity as a tourist was exposed. Nevertheless, it was all worth it to be able to visit so many UNESCO World Heritage sites just a short distance from each other. I also really enjoyed the Carnival in Veracruz. the charming town of Tlacotalpan, and camping right at the edge of the crystal clear Caribbean waters. After Palenque, I will have just 2 more cities to pass until I reach the border of Guatemala. I conserved my camera's battery while driving through most of Palenque, as I've already covered this city in an earlier episode. I'm curious to see what comes afterward because the yellow line on my map gets very wavy. Beaches are nice and all, but my mind and spirit belongs in the mountains. I feel so at peace when I'm surrounded by them. It's very majestic. The views here are spectacular, but the road conditions seem to be deteriorating. I better stay focused on what's right in front of me and try not to make any mistakes. Looks like a large resurfacing project is taking place on this stretch of road. I just hope it stays open to traffic. I've been told that the roads can be closed in both directions for construction, leaving motorists at a dead stop for hours. It is very common to have cars, trucks, and buses pass me on smooth, fast roads, but when things get bumpy, I get the opportunity to return the gesture. Some of these sections are so rough that I'm right on the verge of getting airborne. I'm just glad I chose a bike designed to go off-road. Despite the poor road conditions, this part of Mexico has been the most scenic for me to ride through. It's just a shame that I had to pass nearly the entire length of the country to get to it. After my nail-biting run through the mountains, I finally arrived in Ocosingo. I decided to pause the trip in this picturesque town of nearly 42,000 to edit and upload another video. Ocosingo has a lively center park, great street food, and is surrounded by towering green mountains. But after the video finished uploading, I saw how close I was to Guatemala, and I couldn't wait to get another stamp in my passport. Many of the cities in Mexico do not have a proper highway that would allow you to bypass the maze of streets filled with cars and pedestrians. As a tourist, this can be both good and bad. Good because you get to see things you might otherwise would have missed out on, and bad because it's really easy to get lost. I finally got out of Ocosingo and I'm headed towards Comitan. This portion should be flatter compared to the last, and at this point one can only hope the roads are in good condition. I didn't notice that I've been driving to a much higher elevation since leaving Palenque. I had to stop and put on more layers. I even turned on my electric heated grips, which I haven't done since the US. According to GPS data, I've climbed an additional 3,000 feet, or just under 1,000 meters, since Ocosingo. The highest point I've reached on this stretch is just over 6,000 feet above sea level. No wonder it's a little bit cooler. Mexico is a very large country. It took me 3 weeks to reach the border of Guatemala. In this time, I visited 4 ancient cities, explored a subterranean cave, had my first major breakdown, spent a few days camping on the beach, and stayed in many cities both large and small all along the way. This may seem like a lot to handle, but I have adapted and it's become my new way of life. I can finally see the city of Comitan off in the distance. The finish line is very near. Comitan has a population of around 140,000. There is a large central park here, modern shops and restaurants, and a very prominent music scene. Brilliantly painted churches and elaborate art sculptures decorate the inner portion of the city, making it a popular tourist destination for both Mexican nationals and foreign travelers. On this particular night, I was treated to some live music and a dance exhibition. So unexpected yet so awesome. This is it, the final home stretch to Guatemala. All I could think about is what will the border be like when I get there? Will there be a lot of traffic? Will I be able to exchange currency easily? Will I be delayed at all? Will the border officials be uncooperative? I have no clue, and all I can do is hope it will be easy. Unfortunately, this episode and this country is coming to a close. We'll have to wait until next episode to see what awaits in Guatemala. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Motorbike Explorer. I hope you enjoyed what you saw, and until next time, safe travels everyone, and have a wonderful day.